Hey everyone, it's Lisa Cash Hanson again, author of Get Famous, the most amazing mom bloggers resource on the planet, and founder of Mompreneur Mogul, where we teach women how to be powerful in business and to be confident in life. So today's video is totally different than any video I've ever done. I hope that you stick with me because today I'm going to share with you my own personal story of my past tragedy, triumph, where I come from, and so you can understand where I'm going, because my business is about to take a major shift, I do believe, and it's all about social entrepreneurism, helping out, and things of that nature. I've always been a giver. I'm a Christian, so that's just part of my nature, for me anyway, but there's just some changes. So I hope that this video, if you're going through anything similar or ever have been, I hope that it helps you. And thank you as always for watching. So I'll try to sum it all up so the video isn't forever. But on Mother's Day, I shared in my newsletter. If you're not on my newsletter list, you can sign up on my website. And if you'd like to see the copy of the one I sent out, you can always write me, lisa@mompreneurmogul.com, and I'll get that out to you. But it was Mother's Day. There's a young girl at church who has been kind of attached to me lately, and she ran up to me and she shared her story. I went to the nursing mother's room with Matilda, and she shared her story with me of sexual abuse, cutting, mental wards, in and out of foster homes. And as she told me how she had just felt rejected and that nobody loved her, you know, I just felt this emotion rising up in me, and I started to cry. But I had to get a hold of it because I didn't want to lose it with her. But here I was holding Matilda, and I would show you her, but she's napping, otherwise I couldn't do this video. But she's on my website. She's my daughter. I'm a first-time mom. And I'm holding her. It's Mother's Day, and here's this young girl telling me her story about abuse, pain, rejection, and no mother on Mother's Day. So it really just moved me, and she's not the first. There's many young girls that have come to me. Some of you know my background. I'm a performer, been a singer most of my life. I performed to Shania Twain, Madonna, Cher, as well as others. And mostly performing Shania Twain, a lot of young girls come to you. And some of them don't have the best lives, and they don't know what to do, and they're always looking for help. And we, as women entrepreneurs, we can really make a difference. So many people are waiting for the world to change, and the world is waiting for you to be the change. So I just want to share with you my personal story. I don't normally tell it because, to be honest, it's so far removed from who I am today. It's like a vague memory. But I'm just going to tell you so that you know, and then I'll tell you the direction I'm headed. So my mother was 19 when she became pregnant with my then father. And I'll tell you more about that later, but she went on to marry an alcoholic. So my entire life, I was the daughter of an alcoholic. I'm the oldest girl, 3 young boys. And my mom was kind of lost during that time, and she didn't really know that much what to do. And so my father pretty much made me their little slave. You know, I took care of him. I mean, I know it sounds like Cinderella, but in a lot of ways it's close to the truth. I cleaned up, I did the dishes. I mean, my mom did do things. It's not like she didn't, but the brunt of it was on my shoulders. So I grew up resenting my brothers a little bit, and my father was very cruel. You know, he was drunk every night of my life. I can remember most nights falling down off the table, crawling on the floor. It was just a horrible way to be raised. And I'd be outside playing with my friends, and he would scream out the door, and he called me Queenie because he said that I sat around the house and did nothing like a queen, which was ridiculous because I did everything. But he would scream, "Queenie, Queenie, get in here." Well, you can imagine as a young girl, that's totally humiliating. You know, you're out with your friends, and then here's your drunk, slurring father yelling out the door. And so when I would clean or do things, he would always, he always said negative things to me. He'd tell me, "You're never going to do anything. You're never going to go anywhere. You're stupid." You know, I'd be sitting at the table and I'd be crying over my homework because I took calculus. I had all advanced classes, probably for this need to prove something to him that I was smart. But it was a struggle. You know, I struggled through school, even though I graduated with 3.8 and I got a ride to college, which I later quitted. I told you I should have stayed in college, but I later quit to be a rock star. And anyway, so I would work really hard and he'd just tell me how stupid I was, that I wasn't going to do anything, I wasn't going to go anywhere, I wouldn't be anything, and it was devastating. And then one day when I was 16, he was really nasty and very drunk that night, and he just started cussing, and he told my mother, he said, "Get that B," he called me the B word, "out of my house. She's not my daughter anyway." And that was the day I found out he wasn't my real father, which in some ways was a relief, and in another way, what do you mean? So now, not only did I feel totally isolated anyway because of the way he'd always treated me, it all started to make sense. He favored my brothers, he didn't like me, I'm not his, here we go. But it gave me some hope because I thought, oh, well, I have a real dad. I'll try to find him. So I went on to be a singer, even though my dad told me I'd never make anything. I toured the country. I came to Las Vegas, and that's when I became an impersonator and rise to the top of my field. I worked with Larry the Cable Guy, Chuck Schwab, and a ton of other people in my endeavors of being a singer and a performer. I did very, very well. And so while I was going through all this, when I was young and on the road, I thought, well, I'll just call my real father, check him out. So I raised the courage to call him, and I've never done this before, but I had an anxiety attack, like a literal physical, it was a massive panic attack. My hands were shaking, and I didn't understand what was going on, but I got him on the phone, and I just kind of asked him some regular questions, and then I just asked him if he'd send me a picture, because I wanted to know what he looked like. And he said he would, and then that was it. But I came to find out that he actually spoke to my mother, and he asked my mother to tell me to never call him again. He said that he had his own life now, and he didn't want anything to do with me. Well, the weird thing is, he has daughters. He has his own daughters. So, I had to overcome, well, what's wrong with me? Why don't you want me? You have your own daughters. What about, here I had this crap father my whole life, who I found out wasn't my dad. Ooh, good, he's not my dad. I'll go get my dad. No, you're not going to get me either. I don't want you either. So, as a girl, can you imagine? You just want to be loved, and both father figures totally screw you over. So, I just forgave him. So, he's out there somewhere, and I'm not going to release his name because I don't want anyone to hunt him down. But what I've decided is that I forgive him. And I already told God that if he never wants to talk to me as long as I live, that's fine with me, because I'm free from caring about what he or anyone else thinks. But the reason why I'm sharing this story with you is I had to overcome feelings of rejection, these feelings of abuse, these horrible words that my father ingrained in me from the time that I was a young girl. When I was 5 years old, I wouldn't eat my dinner, like most 5-year-olds. I didn't like the vegetables or something. And my father dumped a whole bottle of beer over my head. And I just remember sitting there at the table and I can't even explain the feeling. Funny, you think you're over stuff, but I'm mostly over it. But it was horrible. And, you feel so hurt because here's the person that's supposed to love you, and this is what they're doing to you. So I would pray, I didn't really know God, but I remember saying, well, one day I'll have a father who does love me. And so I grew up, and I started to follow this same destructive pattern. I dated guys that were drunks, and then I just decided that I wasn't going to follow that road. And for me, my faith made the difference in God. Other people have their things, but I'm telling you, for me, that's what it was. And I began to realize who I was and confess over my life that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, that I have purpose, that, my life is not an accident, and all these things that my father would say to me, they were like railroad tracks in my soul, pressed in. So there was some work as far as confessing that I am worthy, I am good, I am strong, I can be successful, and I am successful. When I sang in the world, some people don't believe it, but it doesn't matter, it's true. My last show, was like a $20,000 show just for me, performing. So I did and was successful, but not only that, my husband is amazing. He's not a drunk, he loves God, he's a great father, and my daughter will never, ever go through what I went through. So why am I just pouring this all out all over the world when I really don't want to? It's because when that girl sat down and she started telling me her story, it just broke my heart, because I know that there are other girls out there who their parents are not cool and they've not been saying the right things over their life. And so I'm reaching out to you today, woman to woman, mano y mano, or mana, whatever the female version is. And I'm asking you to tell me what you think we can do to help girls. Now, I have a plan, and I'm working on it even today when I get done with this video. You're going to see some changes on my blog soon. I know that it's had some issues loading, and I want you to just keep coming back and share your comments, because that's all going to change. But my business model is also going to change, because I am going to really do something for these girls. I'm going to make a difference, and you're going to help me. You're going to help me. So that's my story. That's where I came from. But like I said, it's so far removed from who I am today. I don't think about what he did to me every day. And my father's now dead, and there's so many more details that I can share with you, but I'm not going to. But I am going to write a book about my story, so that will be in the book. But my message is that as women, it doesn't matter what people have done to you. It matters what you do with it. If you hang on to that pain and you rehearse it every day, it's never going to go away. Some people tell you, talk about your problems, and you're probably like, well, Lisa, you're doing that today. I'm sharing it for a purpose. But the reason why I don't think talking about your problems over and over again does anything is I got my motorcycle license not too long ago, and when you're taking a motorcycle class, anyone who's ever taken one knows that they tell you in the, oh, that's nice, got some makeup on there. They tell you in the motorcycle class that when you're driving the bike, that whatever direction you look, that's what direction your bike's going to go. Interesting, isn't it? So if you are scared or you turn your bike the wrong way, poof, you crash on your bike in the direction you were headed. And it's the same thing in life. If all you do is look at the pain and the past and the anxiety, that's where you're going to head. So I encourage you today to share your message to help other people. I want you to talk to me and help me decide, what we're going to do with this and how we're going to make a difference. I have a plan for my business and my future, and I know where I'm headed and what I'm going to do. And if you know a girl who's been through some pain, I'd encourage you to share this video with her. Maybe through it she'll find some hope. Because I tell you that I'm happy now. I love my daughter. I love my husband. I don't think about everything that my father put me through anymore. I don't even think about the fact that my real dad's alive and doesn't want me. And if he ever sees this, Dad, I'm here, even though you didn't want me to be. I'm here. And I forgive you. And I've overcome. And you don't define me, because my life is defined by what I say about my life and what God, my Creator, has spoken over me. And I'm designed for greatness. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. My future is bright, and I'm headed places. And so are you. So I hope you have a good day. I hope that this video has somehow encouraged you to know that no matter what comes along in life, you are an overcomer and you can overcome. Thank you so much for watching, and may you have a great day.